Welcome to Hilary Emmanuel Ministries, where faith meets power, purity and prosperity, and breakthroughs are born. At Diadem, we equip you with bold prayers, life-transforming teachings, and spiritual strategies to overcome every challenge life throws your way. Join us as we dive into God's Word, experience His presence like never before, and walk in His purpose for our lives. If you're in London, we invite you to fellowship with us in person at Diadem, 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. Don't forget to subscribe now and let's grow in faith together.
I will plead with you to give me attention so that you understand what we are doing here today. Because today we are going to fight, and we are going to fight back. We are fighting back because the enemies have been attacking us. Enemies have been attacking us as individuals. I don't know which person on earth here the enemy is not attacking. I don't know which believer, which Christian the enemy is not attacking. So because the enemies have been attacking us, we just have to fight back. And you know, one thing with the enemy is that they attack day and night. They attack round the clock. Their intention is to overwhelm us. Their intention is to wear us out. Their intention is to force us to surrender, to force us to throw in the towel, to raise our hands and beg for our lives. That's what the enemies want. But it will not happen. It will not happen. You know, if the Lord opens your eyes and show you the volume of attacks that come upon us daily, the first question you are going to ask yourself is, how have I been able to survive all this till now? How did I survive? In fact, you'll be so shocked by the volume of things the enemies throw at us day by day. Look at the way we are here, we are surviving just by grace. Purely by grace and mercy. Look at the way the Bible put it. In Lamentations chapter 3. Lamentations chapter 3. In verse 22. The Bible says, it is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. It is the mercies of God, brethren. That's why all the weapons, all the attacks the enemies unleash on us day and night from 1st of January to the last day of December, we are not consumed just because of the mercies of God. It's the mercies of God keeping us, sustaining us. Verse 23 says, and because his compassions fail not, they are new every morning. Do you see that? So as the enemies attack us day by day, the mercies of God, they are new every morning. So for every morning, the Lord will give us the grace, the mercy to survive the day's attack. That's why we are still standing here. That's why we are still Christians. That's why we are not yet consumed. That's why our faith, our salvation, everything is not yet consumed. But for the enemies, they attack us non-stop. It's the mercies of God. And if remove the mercy, nobody can survive the storm of attack. Nobody can survive it. The storm of attack that Satan and his people unleash upon believers, unleash upon Christians. They use everything. Human beings will attack. Animals will attack. Even the elements will attack. Satan's spirit beings will attack. All kinds of things. They attack continually. When it comes to the issue of attack, believers have taught you this before. We have trained ourselves to be on the defensive, playing the catch-up. We allow them to attack us and we begin to repair the damages. We are not always on the offensive. We don't go after them when they've not even attacked us and attack them first. We don't do that most times. We wait for them to attack us first and then we begin to fight back. But today we want to attack. Today we want to push. Today we want to go on the offensive. We want to attack the enemies in what I call breaking and grinding your stubborn attackers. That is what we are talking about today. Breaking and grinding your stubborn attackers. There are different types of attackers. There are passive attackers that will just attack you and walk away. They are not so much interested in you. Sometimes they just attack you for fun. Or they attack you for just game. And they just carry out the attack and they walk away. But there are some other ones that are determined. There are some other ones that will attack and continue to attack and continue to attack. When they attack and it's not working to their satisfaction, they go and look for other weapons. You remember the case Jesus Christ talked about. He says some evil spirit, some unclean spirit, when they go out of a man, when they drive them out of a man, they are not satisfied. They will go and be checking. They will be coming back. They want to come back again and attack. And when they find their way back, you say they will go and get 7 more wicked spirits. And then they will come back. Those are determined enemies. Those are stubborn enemies. And brethren, those are the kind of enemies we want to attack today. We are not just going to attack them ordinarily. We are going to do to them what they do to us. Because each time they attack us, what they target is they want to break us in pieces. They want to grind us. They want to make sure that no strength, nothing is left in us. Look, that we don't recover again. Look at the way the Bible describes it in Isaiah chapter 3, so that you see what they do to the people of God, what they do to Christians, to believers. Isaiah chapter 3, look at verse 15. He says, what mean ye? Now, this is the Lord speaking here. This is the Father himself speaking. Because you will still see it, see the Lord God of hosts. This is the Father himself speaking. And the Father is saying, what mean ye? What does that mean? He said, why are you doing this? What do you mean? What do you want to achieve? What is the Father talking about here? What mean ye? Are you there with me? What did he say they do? That ye beat my people to pieces. He said they take the people of God, Christians, believers, they beat them into pieces. They break them in pieces. Not only that, if they beat you in pieces, you will still begin to gather the pieces and pick up the pieces, isn't it? Look at what they do next. And they do what? They grind the faces of the poor. After piecing the people of God, they grind them. Do you see the nature of attack I'm talking about now? And this is the kind of things that we are the one that should be doing it to the enemies. But you can see now, this the enemies doing it to us. What do they attack? What are those things they break in pieces? Brethren, sometimes they can come upon just one area of life. They can come upon somebody's health. Somebody's health. They can take just the mind only, the mind of somebody, and break that mind in pieces and grind it. They can take somebody's senses and break it in pieces and grind it. They can take somebody's finances and break that finance in pieces and grind it. They can take somebody's destiny and break it in pieces and grind it. They can take marriages. They can take anything. The worst is when they take somebody's salvation. When they take somebody's faith, your faith. The enemy can destroy everything. If they have not taken away your faith from you, you are still good. That was one thing Satan couldn't do to Job. He took everything away from him. Took his family, took all his children, business, everything. Took his health, but he couldn't touch his faith. But sometimes they target that faith. And when they target the faith and they pieces the faith, if they succeed in grinding the faith into powder, the person will be in the church but is gone. The person will still be praying but is gone. Look at the way the Lord put it in Luke 22. You can see that operation, Jehovah God hates it. He said, what do you mean by this? Why are you doing this? Why do you break my people in pieces? Why do you grind their face? Look at Luke 22. Look at verse 31. This is the Lord Jesus. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you. He says, Satan is going to attack you. He has been planning to attack you, that he may sift you as wheat. Brethren, before you can sift wheat, you have to break it first. You have to crush the wheat before you begin to sift it. He said, look at the agenda. He said, Satan is planning now to crush you, to break you and sift you. So that nothing, look at what the Lord said for that, verse 32. He said, but I have prayed for thee. What did the Lord pray for? The Lord didn't pray for Satan not to break him. The Lord didn't pray for Satan not to sift him. The Lord only prayed for what Satan was targeting, which was what? The faith. The faith. Because he knew if he's able to crush the faith and sift it, that's the end. Peter will never be a Christian again. Peter is finished for life. He said that I have prayed so that your faith will not fail. And he says something. When you are converted, now the whole event has almost completed in the spirit realm. He said this attack has prospered already. What is left now is your conversion. We have to convert you again afresh. We have to bring you back to salvation afresh, because your faith has been attacked. He said when you are converted, then strengthen, which means you are not only the only one that was attacked. Even your brethren also were attacked. Do you see what was happening one night? Just one night. You know, on Tuesday we're talking about it here. The hour of darkness. Just one night. See how Satan was using only one stone to kill several birds. That night he was targeting to kill the Lord Jesus. At the same time he was targeting the faith to crush and grind the faith of Peter in pieces. And sift him and empty him. At the same time he was targeting the other disciples also at the same time. And the Lord said, the attack has prospered already. He said, but I've prayed for you to recover you, to reconvert you again, to bring you back again to faith, to revive your faith again. Brethren, the attack we are talking about, if not for the mercies of God day by day, the Bible said that's why we are not yet consumed. The enemy's attack are not the type that many people survive. It's so terrible. He said we are not consumed because of the mercies of God. So you can see this scenario here. The attack has prospered already. All the Lord was now doing was recovery effort. Recovery. How to recover Peter's faith. How to recover the faith of the disciples. How to help them again to be converted. And to come back again to faith. Just because of this nature of attack. Do you now imagine, brethren, what would have happened if the Lord did not pray for Peter? What would have happened if the Lord did not pray for them? Do you know that no Christian that would have been the end of everything Jesus came to do? Because what Satan wanted to do was kill Jesus, quench the fire, stop Christianity right there, so that nothing will be heard about salvation. So do you see the nature of the attack? Listen carefully to me. The powers attacking you, they are not attacking only you. As they are attacking you, they are targeting all of that destiny that are tied to you. All of that destiny that are attached to your destiny, they are targeting them too. They are targeting those people that God has ordained you and written down in your name that you are going to bless in life, that you are going to impact positively in life, that you are going to bring to salvation, that your light will shine upon, that will taste of your salt and come to Christ. So the attack has a multiplying effect, a ripple effect that will go on and on. So what we are going to do, brethren, is we are going to fight. Because if you don't fight, the attacks will prosper. Look at 1 Samuel. And do you know what I discovered reading the scriptures? The Lord wants us to operate in that manner too. The Lord wants us to learn the art of attacking the enemies, attacking Satan, attacking the human beings, attacking the enemy, our attackers. The Lord wants us to begin to attack them too and sift them like wheat. Attack their capabilities, break them in pieces and grind them. That's what the Lord wants us to operate. Look at 1 Samuel chapter 2. 1 Samuel chapter 2. Look at verse 9. The Bible says, he will keep the feet of his saints. It's the Lord that has been keeping our feet, so brethren. He will keep the feet of his saints. And if the Lord is not keeping our feet, the enemies will have wiped our feet off the ground. He said, the Lord will keep the feet of his saints. And the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. We are standing because the Lord is keeping our feet. By our own strength, we can't survive 1 hour. Verse 10. The adversaries of the Lord shall, do you see down what the Lord wants us, his saints, to do? He said, the adversaries of the Lord shall be broken in pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them, and the Lord shall judge the ends of the earth. And he will give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. But the Lord wants us to begin to break our adversaries in pieces. He wants us to begin to break the adversaries in pieces. To use the weapons of God. And this is what the enemies do to the people of God. And God wants his children to do the same thing to the enemies. We are going to cry unto our God today to give us his power and give us his weapons to break our attackers in pieces and grind them to powder. This is the kind of prayers we are going to pray here today. Job chapter 16. Job 16. Look at verse 8. Job 16 verse 8. and thou hast filled me with wrinkles. Many people don't know that wrinkle is attack. You are laughing. Where will it be before? Job said, thou hast filled me with wrinkles, which is a witness against me. Because wrinkles bear witness. They bear testimony. They speak. Which is a witness against me. And my leanness rising up in me beareth witness to my face. Why was Job saying all these things? Because he was under attack. And we know how it all started. And we know who attacked him. Satan was the one that attacked him. Verse 9. Look at what he said. He teareth me in his wrath. He who hated me, he gnasheth upon me with his teeth. My enemy sharpeneth his eyes upon me. No, we don't see these things. We don't see the faces of our enemies to see the level of hatred they have for us, to see the level of bitterness in their heart against us. We don't see all those things. Verse 10. They have gaped upon me with their mouth. They have smitten me upon the cheek reproachfully. They have gathered themselves together against me. God has delivered me to the ungodly. And it's true. It's God that delivered Job to Satan that gave him permission. He said, God handed me over to the ungodly and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. Job said in verse 12, he said, I was at ease. I was peaceful in my life before. I had peace. I was at ease. But he had broken me. Immediately God handed him over to his enemies. Do you see what followed? Instantly. He said he broke him asunder. He crushed him. Broke him asunder. He has also taken me by my neck. Look at what the enemies do, how they operate. He said he has taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces. How I wish the Lord will let us begin to operate like this. That when you wake up in the morning, maybe you slept, you had a dream, and you saw an enemy in the dream, and you just rise up, and you say, that enemy that came near to attack me, that I just saw now in my dream, I command you to come back. Let the hands of fire arrest you wherever you are, and bring you back here. And then you read this passage. You read this passage I'm reading to you now. This Job, this verse 12, Job chapter 16, verse 12. You read it. And then you say, I grab you by your neck. And then you hold that neck tight and you begin to shake them. You say, whatsoever you are, I shake you into pieces. I shred you. Just continue to shake them. Continue to shake them until you are satisfied. Because they did it to Job and it worked. If it worked against Job, why will it not work against your own enemy? He said, he has taken me by my neck and he has shaken me to pieces and set me up for his mark. Do you know what that means? He set me up as a sign, as a mark, where they will be testing their arrow. When they shoot, they say they hit the bull's eye. So he set him up and they were now testing, shooting everything at him. Verse 13. His archers compassed me round about and cleaved my rein asunder. So they put him up and they were bringing archers. Say, everybody come and shoot. Say they broke him in pieces. They tore him asunder with their arrows. And doth not spare. They had no mercy. He poured out my gall upon the ground. He said they shot me until my bowel, everything was gushing on the ground. Do you see how the enemy broke people in pieces? Verse 14. He breaketh me with breach upon breach. What does that mean? Which means if they hit you and you fall down, they hit you again. They don't want you to stand up again. Breach upon, they continue to strike you in that same spot until they were able to shred the person and break the person in pieces. He runneth upon me like a giant. I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin and defiled my horn in the dust. My face is foul with weeping, and on my eyelid is the shadow of death. You say, I have wept, nobody can rescue me. I cried, no help. So you now see that this is the operation of the enemies. And brethren, if we are going to also deal with the enemy, this is how we should deal with them. This is how we should deal with them. We should also learn how to break them in pieces too. We should also learn how to grind them to powder also. We should also learn how to set them up and begin to fire arrow day and night against them. Got Psalm 89. Psalm 89. Look at verse 9. He's talking about the Lord. He said, thou rulest the raging of the sea. When the waves thereof arise, thou stillest them. So he said, Lord, you rule over the sea. When they rise up in their wave, you calm them. Verse 10. thou hast broken Rahab in pieces. This is how God operates himself. And this is how he wants his children to operate. He said, you have broken Rahab in pieces. As one that is slain, thou hast scattered thy enemies with thy strong arm. And we need that strong arm of God here today. We are going to cry unto the Lord to give us that strong arm, to give us his weapon, that same weapon he uses to break his enemies in pieces, because we need that weapon to operate here today. There was a time the Babylonians came upon Israel, and they came upon Judah, and they destroyed the whole country. They destroyed the temple. They leveled the temple to the ground. They leveled the king's palace, everything, all the houses, they destroyed everything. They broke the whole nation in pieces. And then they took away the most precious things. All the gold, the silver, the precious, every good thing. And then the young men, the intelligent ones, the good ones, they selected them and took them away. That's what you call breaking a nation in pieces. They destroyed the nation. They emptied the nation. They plundered the nation. They spoiled the nation. And then when God wanted to deliver his children from the Babylonians, look at what God said. Look at what God said in Jeremiah 51, when God wanted to avenge his people. Jeremiah 51, look at verse 33. Verse 33 says, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the God of diadem. The daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. So he wants to avenge, he wants to fight, destroy also the Babylonians. He says Babylon is going to make Babylon like the threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. Because that was what they did to Judah. That was what they did to Jerusalem. He said that same way they thresh Jerusalem and make sure they flatten the whole town. He said it is time to thresh her. Yet a little while and the time of her harvest shall come. What did they do? Look at the reason in verse 34. Look at what they did. He said, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, has devoured me. He has done what? He has crushed me. He has made me an empty vessel. Do you see what the enemies do? Do you see how the enemies operate? So that's why the Lord is saying, he said, I'm going to also turn them to threshing floor, where they beat wheat in pieces. He said, because he said, look at, he said, he has crushed me. He has made me empty. He has swallowed me up like a dragon. He has filled his belly with my delicates. He had cast me out. He now went to verse 35. He said, the violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon. What does that mean? The same way Babylon did to me, let it be done to them too. So do you now understand why we are praying what we are praying today? Because they are the one that attacked you first. They are the one that crushed you first. They are the one that emptied you first. So what they did to you must come up back again upon them today. He said, the violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. So this is how God wants us to operate. That thing the enemies did to you, you do it to them also. And it doesn't really matter how many enemies are involved. It doesn't really matter how many of them attacked you or are attacking you presently. The power of God, the weapon of God, they are there for us. The Father will give us sufficient weapon and sufficient power to take care of all of them. Look at the way the Bible describes it in Isaiah chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8 in verse 9. He says, associate yourselves, O ye people, and ye shall be broken in pieces. Because sometimes they even form association of common interest. Association of common interest. The people that love to attack the other members. They form themselves into a group. And they form association. And they carry out the attack in group. He said, associate yourself, O ye people, and ye shall be broken in pieces. And give ear, all your far countries. Guide yourself, and ye shall be broken in pieces. It doesn't matter whether they are close by, whether they are in other countries, it doesn't matter. The Bible says they shall be broken in pieces. Guide yourselves, and you shall be, he said, let them get ready. Let them fortify themselves. Let them guide themselves. Let them take up their weapons. He said, one thing is guaranteed, they shall be broken in pieces. He said, take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, it shall not stand, for God is with us. God is with us. So the weapon, the battle we fight, we are not fighting it by ourselves. The God of hosts is with us. Jehovah Sabaoth is with us. The man of war is here. And he's the one fighting for us. And look, brethren, I want to plead with you. I know we have been busy all day. I know possibly the body is tired. But please, let's not disappoint the Lord. Let's not disappoint the Lord. Because there is a specific way the Lord wants us to fight this battle. And we must not disappoint him. We must be able to bring that to the table. Look at how the Lord wants it to be. In Isaiah chapter 30. Isaiah chapter 30, look at verse 14. The way the Lord wants us to do it. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 14. And he, if you like, you say she. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He said, the way I want you to do it is this. When you take a clay pot, and you smash that clay pot like the potter's vessel, the breaking of a potter's vessel, you break it in pieces. And he shall not, are you with me? He said you should not spare anything. You should never spare anything. Anybody that has attacked you, I don't know, I don't care, and I don't want to know who they are. Don't spare them. Don't spare them. He said, you shall not spare, so that when you finish breaking them, so that there shall not be found in the bosom of it. That is, when you smash them and you break them and grind them. He said, when you finish, there should not be found in the pieces, among the pieces, to take fire from the earth. You might not understand this very well. It's only people that grew in Africa or back in the village that can understand this. What happened is this. In the village, there's no kitchen like this. Kitchen is outside. You make kitchen outside. Where you cook, you make these 3 stools. And then you make firewood. You put firewood. And then you put pot on top. And then you put fire on the firewood. And you cook there outside. But most times, you don't have fire at home. You don't normally have matches and all those things. For you to make the fire, you have to go to the neighbor with a broken pot, part of a broken clay pot. You use part of the brick and collect a coal of fire from your neighbor's house and bring it home and use it to set up your own fire. So the pieces of pot that you used to collect that in is what is talking here. He said, please, when you break your enemy's finish, make sure that nothing is left. Not even a pieces that somebody can use to collect a coal of fire. Not even a pieces that you can go and use to collect a coal of fire from the earth. Or to take water with that out of the pit. Or even to use that pieces, you can small pieces, you want to use it to scrape water. He said he doesn't want such level of pieces to remain. Doesn't want it to remain. So what does that mean? He wants you to pulverize them. He wants you to break them and grind them. That is what is recommending here. And so we should not disappoint the Lord. That's what we are going to do. That all the enemies, you might not even know them. Don't bother yourself. Don't even care to know them. That have ever attacked you in life. That has ever touched you in life. Or touched your interest anywhere. You are going to break them and you are going to grind them to powder. And do you know we are not the first people to do this? Do you know there are people that God himself gave the weapon, gave the power, gave everything to do it. And when they finished doing it, they gave testimony. Look at one of the testimony. Let's read the testimony before we start doing our own. In Psalm 18, this is David, Psalm 18. Because he had a lot of enemies too. And the enemies also were determined to kill him also. Look at verse 32. Psalm 18 verse 32. He said, it is God that guided me with strength. So as we are going into this battle, it's not by our power. He said, by strength shall no man prevail. He said, it is God that gives us the energy, the strength, that guides us with strength, and maketh my way perfect. Verse 34. And what does he do again? He teacheth my hands to war. Why? Is God interested in war? Yes. He is a man of war. Does he want his children to be fighting wars? Yes. He teaches our hand to war. He said, God teacheth my hand so that a bow of steel is broken by my arm. Wow. Do you know what that means? If your enemies decide to turn to iron, because they can turn to different things. If they know you are coming to break them in pieces, they might decide to turn to iron. Don't worry yourself. The Lord has prepared your hands to break even a bow of steel. That even if they turn to iron, you will break them in pieces still. Now look at what follows. Verse 37. Verse 37. I have pursued my enemies. Do you see that today's prayer is not a prayer you pray sleeping? Because how can you be sleeping and pursuing somebody? He said, I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them. Some of them want to escape. They want to run. Because they don't want to die. They don't want you to do to them what they did to you. They know the impact. He said, I have pursued them overtaken. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. Because that's what they wanted to do to us. The Bible says it's the mercies of God that does not allow us to be consumed. So you have to, the Lord said, today you must consume your enemies. Look at what follows. Verse 38. He said, I have wounded them. That's where the battle started from. As he was pursuing, he started to wound them first. He said, I have wounded them that they were not able to rise. They knocked them to the ground. Wounded them. They were falling under my feet. Verse 39. For thou hast guided me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. Verse 42. Then, are you with me? What did he do? He said, I beat them small as the dust. Somebody will have thought, I have wounded them, let me go home. Not David. He said, I stayed there because that's what the enemies do. That, you remember the place I read to you? So that's what David started to do. David remained there and started to break, even though they were wounded, even though they were falling under his feet, he started to crush them until they turned to powder. He says, then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind, and I did cast them out of the death in the street. Say that I turned them to dust. That is how to deal with those who touched you, those who troubled you, those who attack you, who have made it their business to attack you. Some of them are so stubborn. You have prayed all kinds of prayers. You have prayed to every night, you keep praying to protect yourself. Every night, you keep praying to fortify yourself. Put on fire everywhere. They will still penetrate and come and attack you. Let them know they have no monopoly to attack. That you too can attack. And your attack is deadly. Let's close our eyes. You are going to cry unto the Lord like this and say, my God and my Father, please, Lord, forgive me. Everything that I did that opened the doors for the enemies to attack me and prosper. Lord, I am so sorry. I repent today in dust and in ashes. Have mercy upon me, Lord.
Thank you for watching. If this message blessed you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to join our growing community of faith. You've just listened to the sermon, but there are powerful prayers that follow. Due to social media rules and guidelines, the prayers have been removed from this video. However, you can access the full prayers and more life-changing resources by visiting www.pastorhillary.org or downloading our app, Diadem Media. If you're in the London area, we'd love to have you fellowship with us in person at 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. If you have any questions about this message, want counseling from Pastor Hillary, or wish to share your testimonies following the prayers, please leave a comment below and someone from our team will get in touch. Until next time, may God bless you abundantly and guide you in all your ways. Stay victorious.